श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 कृष्णा
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
राम राम राम हरे हरे।
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Hare Krishna. Continuing to discuss on the very last section of the 17th chapter, punishment and reward of Kali. So when Kali was chastised and threatened by Maharaj Parikshit to be immediately slain, he became very terrified. And what he immediately did, he changed his dress from Kshatriya. He gave up that show of the royal order and he fell at the feet of Maharaj Parikshit, asking, begging forgiveness and seeking protection. And we saw that the Kshatriya is obliged to protect whoever comes under his shelter. And when Kali personified fell at the lotus feet of Maharaj Parikshit pardoned him, not to kill him, but also told him that he cannot remain in his kingdom. And Kali said that the entire world is your kingdom. So kindly allot me a place where I can stay. And 4 places were awarded by Maharaj Parikshit. What were the 4 places? What are these 4 places that officially was allotted to Kali by Maharaj Parikshit? What are these 4 places? Quickly, Akshay.
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. वो 4 कौन से स्थान है जहाँ कलयुग को महाराज परीक्षित ने रहने की अनुमति दी? आपने भागवतम ले लिया?
जी मंगाया हूँ कल।
क्यों? बरगढ़ में भागवतम नहीं मिलता है? ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए।
नहीं और प्रभु जी पूरी गए हैं तो पूरी से मंगाया हूँ।
ऑनलाइन तो है ना अवेलेबल, ऑनलाइन देख सकते हैं आप मोबाइल यूज करते हैं? करते हैं ना?
जी प्रभु।
तो मोबाइल से पढ़ सकते हैं। बुक हो तो बेटर है। आपको ये नहीं पता 4 कौन से स्थान है यहाँ पे कलयुग निवास करता है? आप थे ना उस दिन क्लास में जब परसों हम क्लास ले रहे थे?
जी
तो इतना तो मेमोरी में जाना चाहिए। कौन से 4 स्थान थे? इस चैप्टर में इतनी बार हम उसका डिस्कशन कर चुके हैं। कुबेर।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा।
ऑस्टेरिटी, क्लीनलीनेस।
क्या पूछ रहा हूँ और आप क्या बोल रहे हो? वो 4 स्थान जहाँ कली निवास करता है, जहाँ अनुमति मिली है, वो ऑस्टेरिटी क्लीनलीनेस है। क्या सुन रहे हो? इतना सरल नहीं है श्रवण करना। श्रवण करने के लिए बहुत प्योरिटी चाहिए। आप बताइए भाग्यशाली, वो
प्रभु
कौन
जी,
से 4 स्थान है?
जहाँ जुआर का खेल होता है और जहाँ मद्यपान होता है, जहाँ क्या जो अवैध संपर्क रहता है,
हाँ, और चौथा?
और जहाँ नशा होता है।
हाँ, इन स्थानों पे कली रहता है। इसलिए प्रभुपाद जी ने हमें ये 4 सिद्धांत दिए जिससे हम कली के प्रभाव से क्या रहे, मुक्त रहे और भक्ति में प्रगति कर सके। तो इन चारों स्थानों पे अनुमति प्राप्त करके अब देखिए कली किस प्रकार से महाराज परीक्षित से आगे वार्ता करते हैं। लास्ट वर्स यही था 38। Sud Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution and animal slaughter were performed. हमने प्रिंसिपल्स देखा, प्रभुपाद जी ने कई सिद्धांत दिया। आगे फ्रॉम वर्स नंबर 39, पुनश्च याचमानाय जता रूपम अधत प्रभु ततो अनर्थम मदम कामा राजो वैरम च पंचमा। The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold. This is the fifth place. Punascha yachamanaya. So after receiving these 4 official places of residence, Kali was not content. So he further begged. Yachamanaya, yachana, begging. And what was the other place which was nominated? Jata Rupam Adhat Prabhu. Jata Rupam is gold and Prabhu is the king. So he gave a 5th place for him to reside. That is where there is gold. Why? Because Tato Anartham Madam Kaman. Where there is gold, there is intoxication, Madam, Mada and Kamam, lust. So the personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold. So this is the 5th place. Because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. Anartham. Anartham is falsity. Madam is intoxication. Kamam is lust. And Raja is passion. Vairam is enmity. So along with gold, all this come along. So these things are already present there. Although Maharaj Parikshit gave Kali permission to live in 4 places, it was very difficult for him to find the places, because during the reign of Maharaj Parikshit, there was no such places. So ऐसे कोई 4 स्थान थे ही नहीं महाराज परीक्षित के राज्य में जहां पे ये रह सके. Therefore, Kali asked the king to give him something practical which could be utilized for his nefarious purposes. Maharaj Parikshit thus gave him permission to live in a place where there is gold. बहुत ध्यान से सुनिए. हमें बहुत आदत है कि हम गोल्ड संग्रह करेंगे. स्त्रियों की बड़ी आदत होती है कि अपने पतियों से भी छुपा छुपा के वो क्या करेंगी, इसका गोल्ड का, सोने का संग्रह करते हैं. तो देखिए सोने में कौन समाएगा. Because wherever there is gold, there are above mentioned 4 things, and over and above them there is enmity also. So the personality of Kali became gold standardized. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, anartham, intoxication, madam, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad. Gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on par with the reserve gold. Economics के जो स्टूडेंट होंगे उन्हें पता होगा that what is the system. You can only print as much currency as much you put gold, but no government does that. So Prabhupada is saying that even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad, because gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on a par with the reserve gold. The basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in value beyond that of the actual reserve gold. This artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. The prices of commodities become artificially inflated because of bad money or artificial currency notes. Bad money drives away good money. Instead of paper currency, actual gold coin should be used for exchange. And this will stop the prostitution of gold. Gold quality, but by quantity. This will discourage lust, envy, and enmity. Prabhupada is also mentioning that gold ornaments for women may be allowed by control, not by quality, but by quantity. So not more than certain grammage of gold should be there. This will discourage lust, envy, and enmity. When there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the influence of gold in producing falsity, prostitution, etc. will automatically cease. There will be no need of an anti-corruption ministry for another term of prostitution and falsity of purposes. So this was the 5th place. And don't think if gold is not allowed, then silver is allowed. It is the same. Both. It goes together, gold and silver. Amauni panchasthanani hiya dharma prabhava kali autaraye nadattani navasaya tannideshakre. Thus the personality of Kali, by the directions of Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara. Maharaj Parikshit's name is here Autarayana. Autarayana refers to the son of Uttara. That is Maharaj Parikshit. Was allowed to live in those 5 places. Panchasthani. Thus the age of Kali began with gold standardization, and therefore falsity, intoxication, animal slaughter, and prostitution are rampant all over the world. And the saner section is eager to drive out corruption. The counteractive process is suggested above, and everyone can take advantage of this suggestion. Atha etanena sevate babhushu purusha kvachet visheshato dharmashilo raja loka pattir guru. Therefore, whoever desires progressive well-being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, brahmanas and sannyasis, should never come in contact with the 4 above mentioned irreligious principles. So this is from here, Prabhupada has given us the 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex. Because these are the places where Kali personified resides. Progressive well-being means spiritual. He is a religionist, public leader, brahmana, and sannyasi. Should never come in contact with these 4 irreligious principles. The brahmanas are the religious preceptors for all other castes, and the sannyasis are the spiritual masters for all the caste and order of society. The brahmanas and sannyasis have great responsibilities in society. So also do the king and the public leader, who are responsible for the material welfare of all people. The progressive religionist and those who are responsible human beings, or those who do not want to spoil their valuable human life, should refrain from all the principles of irreligiosity, especially illicit connection with women. If a brahmana is not truthful, all his claims as a brahmana at once becomes null and void. If sannyasi is illicitly connected with women, all his claims as a sannyasi at once becomes false. Similarly, if the king and the public leader are unnecessarily proud or habituated to drinking and smoking, certainly they become disqualified to discharge public welfare activities. Truthfulness is the basic principle for all religions. The 4 leaders of the human society, namely the sannyasis, the brahmana, the king, and the public leader, must be tested crucially by their character and qualification before one can be accepted as a spiritual or material master of society. He must be tested by the above mentioned criteria of character. Such public leaders may be less qualified in academic qualification, but it is necessarily primarily qualifications, namely gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. So Prabhupada is emphasizing here that anyone who takes the leadership position, whether he is the religious person or whether he is a Brahmana or whether he is a politician, whoever takes the leadership position, what should be the criteria or qualification is that he should be free from all these four defects. He may not be academically. Most important is the character. The character of the person is most important than his other qualifications. So this is being emphasized. Vrishasya nashatam trin padam tapasaucham dayamiti pratisandhada asvasya mahim cha samvardhaya. Thereafter, the king re-established the lost legs of the personality of religion, the bull, and by encouraging activities, he sufficiently improved the condition of the earth. So the king re-established the lost religion. The lost three legs were re-established. What was that? Tapa, Saucham, and Daya. The other three. By designating particular places for the shade Kali. In the presence of Kali Dharma in the shape of bull and the earth in the shape of a cow, he could actually estimate the general condition of his kingdom. And therefore, he at once took proper steps to re-establish the lost leg of the bull, namely austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. And for the general benefit of the people of the world, he saw that the gold stock might be employed for stabilization. Gold is certainly a generator of falsity, intoxication, prostitution, enmity, and violence. But under the guidance of a proper king or a public leader or a Brahmana or sannyasi, the same gold can be properly utilized to re-establish the lost legs of the bull, the personality of religion. Maharaj Parikshit, like his grandfather Arjuna, collected all illicit gold kept for the propensities of Kali and employed it in the Sankirtan Yagna as per the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. As we have suggested before, one's accumulated wealth may be divided into three parts for distribution, namely 50% for the service of the Lord, 25% for the family members, and 25% for personal necessities. Spending 50% for the service of the Lord or for propagation of spiritual knowledge in society by way of Sankirtan Yagna is the maximum display of human mercy. People of the world are generally in darkness regarding spiritual knowledge, especially in regard to the devotional service of the Lord. And therefore, to propagate the systematic transcendental knowledge of devotional service is the greatest mercy that one can show in this world. When everyone is taught to sacrifice 50% of his accumulated gold for the Lord's service, certainly austerity, cleanliness, and mercy automatically ensue. And thus the three lost legs of the personality of religion are automatically established. When there is sufficient austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, naturally Mother Earth is completely satisfied. And there is very little chance for Kali to infiltrate the structure of human society. So here again and again, Prabhupada is so much emphasizing and bringing our attention and focus how we should conduct our living. He says the maximum display of human mercy is when 50% of our income is spent for propagation of Sankirtan Yajna, especially in regard to devotional service. And when Prabhupada said, when everyone is taught to sacrifice 50% of his accumulated gold for the Lord's service. So this is to be taught, this has to be trained. And how one can be trained? So many times I have shared. Those who really want to advance, your own spending should be minimal. Whatever you earn, most of it, do that, you will see what will be the effect. What Shastra is speaking, it is applicable for each and every one of us. You will be caught in all these 4 pillars of irreligion. You will be trapped. If anyone does sangraha of dhana, which belongs to Krishna, then he is mastering the Ramana propensity. He is trying to enjoy Lakshmi or Sita, not for Narayan. Lakshmi or Sita is for Narayan and Lord Ram. Otherwise, one is following the Ramana mentality, and then what Prabhupada is speaking is correct. There is all kind of irreligious practices. And one more thing I have personally experienced in my life, that those who are very miser in their heart and they do not spend their earnings for Sankirtan Yajna, entire life I see them, they remain beggars. They have nothing. They are always struggling and their finances are always suffocating them. They have such insecurity of heart and they are always crippled. I have seen in whatever little years I have practiced in Krishna consciousness. And those who follow the principles, you will see Mother Lakshmi will always favor you more than what you require. Whatever is needed, she will be more, present for you than what you require. Why? Because you are engaging in Lord's service. So this is for those who actually have intelligence. And those whose intelligence is enamored by Kali, they will still continue to practice or preserve this resources for themselves. I was reading one analysis by a devotee. I was very much struck by him. He gives the analysis of happiness quotient. And he gives it by HRD. H stands for happiness, and happiness equals to R upon D. R is the resources and D is the desires. The numerator is resources and the denominator is desires. Are you following? Likh lo. H equals to R upon D. Happiness in life will be directly proportionate to R upon D. So R is the resources, whatever resources you have. That is the numerator. And what is the denominator? Is the desires. So as you have material desires and aspiration, you will always feel short of your resources. And as you purify your desire to do service and not try to exploit or enjoy, as your desires will become purified, you will see you will have abundance of resources. Never ever in your life there will be any shortage of any resource. Now what will be the result? If your numerator is more and your denominator is less, your happiness quotient will be high. The very wonderful formula. Hare Krishna. Deliberate on it, and if you get an understanding, we can discuss on this. If you learn this formula, somehow one devotee made me learn this formula in 2006. It is almost 19 years when I was getting initiated before that. So this formula really works. It has worked with me for 20 years. The resources are always more. Why? Because the denominator is very light. It is 0.1 or 0.2 or none. So you have all the resources always available with you. Hare Krishna. This is spiritual mathematics. Saisha itari adhyasta asanam parthvitochitam pitamahe anashyatam raja narayana vivikshata ashte adhuna saraj rishi kauravendra श्रियोलसान गजावहे महाभागास चक्रवर्ती बृहक्षवा. The most fortunate emperor Parikshit, who was entrusted with the kingdom of Hastinapur by Maharaj Yudhishthir, when he desired to retire to the forest, is now ruling the world with great success due to his being glorified by the deeds of the king of the Kuru dynasty. The prolonged sacrificial ceremonies undertaken by the sages of Naimisharanya began shortly after the demise of Maharaj Parikshit. The sacrifice was to continue for 1000 years, and it is understood that in the beginning some of the contemporaries of Baladev, the elder brother of Lord Krishna, also visited the sacrificial place. According to some authorities, the present tense is also used to indicate the nearest margin of time from the past. In that sense, the present tense is applied to the reign of Maharaj Parikshit here. For a continuous fact, also present tense can be used. The principles of Maharaj Parikshit can be still continued, and human society can be improved if there is determination by the authorities. Very important. Prabhupada is saying here, the principles of Maharaj Parikshit can be still continued, and human society can still be improved if there is determination by the authorities. We can still purge out from the state all the activities of immorality introduced by the personality of Kali. If we are determined to take action like Maharaj Parikshit, he allotted some place for Kali, but in fact Kali could not find such places in the world at all because Maharaj Parikshit was strictly vigilant to see that there were no places for gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. Modern administrators want to banish corruption from the state, but fools that they are, they do not know how to do it. They want to issue license for gambling houses, shops selling wine and other intoxicants, brothels, prostitution, hotels, and cinema houses. And they even allow falsity in all dealings, even their own. And at the same time, they want to drive out corruption from the state. They want the kingdom of God without God consciousness. How can it be possible to adjust two contradictory matters? If we want to drive out corruption from the state, we must first of all organize society to accept the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. And to make the conditions favorable, we must close all places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and falsity. These are some of the practical lessons from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. At least we should do it in our own life. That much authority we do have. Ittam bhuta anubhavayam अभिमन्यो सूत नृपः यस्य पालयता शौनिम यूयम क्षत्रया दीक्षिता. Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. This is Suta Goswami speaking. This is the last verse. The Brahmanas and the sannyasis are expert in the spiritual advancement of society, whereas the Kshatriyas or administrators are expert in material peace and prosperity of human society. All of them are the pillars of all happiness, and therefore they are meant for full cooperation for common welfare. Maharaj Parikshit was experienced enough to drive away Kali from his field of activities and thereby make the state receptive to spiritual enlightenment. If the common people are not receptive, it is very difficult. Prabhupada is saying, very important. If the common people are not receptive, it is very difficult to impress upon them the necessity of spiritual enlightenment. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The basic principle of religion prepare the ground for the reception of advancement in spiritual knowledge. And Maharaj Parikshit made this favorable condition possible. Thus, the rishis of Naimisharanya were able to perform the sacrifice for 1,000 years. In other words, without state support, no doctrine or philosophy or religious principles can progressively advance. There should be complete cooperation between the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas for this common good. Even up to Maharaj Ashok, the same spirit was prevailing. Lord Buddha was sufficiently supported by King Ashok, and thus his particular cult of knowledge was spread all over the world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the first canto, 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali. So here, this chapter is concluded. Hare Krishna. Any discussion? Punishment and reward of Kali. Very important principles we saw in this chapter. How Maharaj Parikshit dealt with Kali personified. And in purports, what Srila Prabhupada is very emphatically speaking about maintaining these four principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. How it is to be preserved, he has given the process very clearly here in this chapter. Hare Krishna. Yes, Manoram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. As the chapter is entitled Punishment and Reward, and punishment, Prabhuji, I could understand that what punishment Kali was getting, that in four regulative principle following places he was not allowed and was given 5 places only to reside. But about reward of the Kali, Prabhuji, little bit elaboration that part.
Who will answer? What is the reward for Kali? What was the first reward for Kali? There are many rewards. Let us try to highlight them. What is the first reward for Kali? Bolo. Yes. बोलिए रविंदर एंड प्रियंका।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Miscreants are not allowed in Parikshit Maharaj's um, state, but Parikshit Maharaj first of all excused to this colleague because he surrendered.
So the first thing is that he was not killed.
Yes,
Although he was supposed to be slain, he must have been killed. He was an aggressor. How he was an aggressor? Because he was hitting and hurting the bull. He had broken the three legs of bull, and he was also torturing Mother Earth. So he was an atatai, an aggressor. He should have been killed, but he was not killed. That was first reward. Secondly, he should have been thrown out of the kingdom. He was supposed to be thrown out. No one, an aggressor, could stay in the kingdom of Maharaj Kali. Still he was allowed. He was allowed to stay in 5 places. So is this reward or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Like every day, we are supposed to chant attentively. To remain inattentive while chanting is also an offense. And even after hearing so many instructions to maintain material attachment is also an offense. But what do? Every day we commit aparadha and we are inattentive while chanting, and still we are maintaining material attachment. So what should be the punishment? What should be the punishment, Manoram Prabhu?
Will be
Bolo.
not getting mercy, Prabhuji.
We should not be allowed to chant. Because every day we are committing offense. And even knowingly, deliberately we are committing offense. So should we be excused? But again and again, every day again we are given the opportunity. So is it reward or not?
Yes.
Yeah. And what we are doing? We are misusing this mercy. Again and again we are misusing the mercy and not improving. In any case, in our case, Krishna never gives us punishment. He only rewards. See his compassion. See his unconditional love. Why? Because he feels that someday we will turn towards him. And he is patiently waiting. We may keep kicking him on his face, day in and day out. But still, he is showing so much of tolerance and patience. See the patience and tolerance of the Supreme Lord. If we think about it, then we will improve. Then we will start to progress. But we are so stubborn and so ungrateful. And we never ever consider what the Supreme Lord desires from us, or how we can make him happy. We are so absorbed in our own enjoyment and in our plan making for expanding our enjoyment. Prabhupada is saying here in this that leader, whatever capacity he is, he should be very vigilant not to allow these 4 things in his regime. So we should not associate with such people who are engaged in such irreligious activities. Remain distant from this. Hare Krishna. Why very few people have joined today? Many are not available. If we don't hear, where will be the aspiration to apply? बहु जन्म करी यदि श्रवण कीर्तन तबे तो न पाए कृष्ण पदे प्रेमाधन. Where is this opportunity to hear the pure message of Srimad Bhagavatam? Only seven of you have joined today, including me is showing 8. Very important core principles which is being discussed in these chapters. And here so much Prabhupada is emphasizing that one who is engaged in earning, 50% of his earning should minimum, Prabhupada is saying. How many purports he said? At least 50% of his earning should be for propagation of Sankirtan Yagya. Where we are after so many years. That aspiration is also not there. Why? Because the aspiration is there to possess more. Why? Because by possessing more, we think we can enjoy more. So by possessing what we will possess the influence of Kali. Hare Krishna. प्रश्न ही नहीं पूछता कोई, प्रश्न आता ही नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि ये हमारे लिए है नहीं. ये सब प्रिंसिपल हमारे लिए नहीं है. क्यों भाई अक्षय कुमार? हाँ, अभी समझ में आया 4 प्रिंसिपल क्या है?
जी.
बोलिए.
ऑस्टेरिटी, क्लीनलीनेस, मर्सी और ट्रूथफुलनेस.
ये क्या करना है? इनका किसी भी स्थिति में समझौता नहीं करना है.
जी.
इन चारों का त्याग किसी भी अवस्था में नहीं करना है. ये क्या है? अनुकूल से संकल्प. ये हमारी भक्ति में प्रगति के लिए सहायक है. और 4 इलिजिबल प्रिंसिपल क्या है?
मांसाहार नहीं करना है.
नहीं,
नॉन
सब
मीट ईटिंग,
होता है.
नॉन गैम्बलिंग, नो इलीसिट सेक्स
ठीक
और
है.
नशा नहीं.
और उन स्थानों पे नहीं जाना, उन लोगों से नहीं मिलना जो ये करते हैं. नहीं तो आप उनका संग
जी.
करेंगे तो आप अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से ये कार्य कर रहे हैं
जी.
और आपकी भक्ति में बाधा हो जाएगी. आप प्रगति नहीं कर पाएंगे.
जी.
और अगर आप अर्निंग करते हैं, आप तो ब्रह्मचारी बनना चाहते हैं, भाग्यशाली है अगर बन पाए तो. सरल नहीं है. ब्रह्मचारी लिखने से ब्रह्मचारी नहीं बनेंगे. जब ब्रह्मचारी आश्रम में आएंगे तो पता चलेगा ब्रह्मचारी का मतलब क्या है. हाँ, ब्रह्मचारी का मतलब है कोई स्वतंत्रता नहीं है. जो हमारे अथॉरिटी का आदेश है उसी का पालन करना.
जी.
नहीं तो जो बाहर रह करके सोच रहे हैं भोगेंगे, उनके लिए भोगने की कोई संभावना नहीं. कि 50% तो उन्हें संकीर्तन यज्ञ के ऊपर संसाधनों को देना ही है. मिनिमम, मिनिमम
जी.
बोला है. मिनिमम 50%. नहीं कर रहे तो कली का प्रभाव आएगा. वो बच नहीं पाएंगे. वो चाहे जो मर्जी सोचते रहे, करते रहे. ये बड़ा खतरा है. कलयुग के प्रभाव से बचना लगभग असंभव है जब तक हम श्रीमद् भागवतम में जो हमारे आचार्य दे रहे हैं उसका दृढ़ता से पालन ना करें. ओके, आई स्टॉप हियर. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. ओके, 17 चैप्टर. हु इज टू प्रेजेंट? रविंद्र प्रभु, इट इज योर्स.
Yes, Prabhuji.
अच्छा. When you will be in a position to present?
Prabhuji, Wednesday.
साथ के साथ ही करना चाहिए ना तैयार. बेस्ट यही है. ये नहीं कि जब खत्म हो जाए, जब हमसे बोला जाएगा उसके बाद हम सोचेंगे चलो क्या याद रखेंगे, हम भी कर देंगे, बोला है कर देंगे। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। रोज पढ़िए, रोज पढ़ेंगे नित्यम भागवत सेवया, तो भागवत क्या करेगी, हमारी जो ये लोअर नेचर है उसको ट्रांसफॉर्म करेगी। ठीक है। कल तो सैटरडे क्लास है, प्रभु सुन लीजिए, दयाशील प्रभु, इनविटेशन आज अभी डाल दीजिएगा।
यस प्रभु जी।
और मैं कल आऊंगा, और टाइम वही है, 7 बजे से क्लास स्टार्ट कर देंगे, कृष्णा विलिंग। कल मुझे एक जगह जाना है, लेकिन मैंने वहां उनको लिख दिया है मैं 6:30 बजे चला जाऊंगा। अब मुझे, मेरे कंट्रोल में तो नहीं है, लेकिन कोशिश पूरा करूंगा। ठीक है। हरे कृष्णा। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू दी असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज। हरे